This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Retirement isn't just about saving, it's about having a strategy that helps you navigate market ups and downs, combat inflation, and secure the future you deserve. That's why Financially Fit Radio is here to tackle your biggest financial concerns, share actionable strategies, and help you move toward your retirement goals with confidence. And now, here's Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. If you have any questions about today's show, feel free to give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're on our website, feel free to check out the radio page. You can listen to today's show, previous shows. You can also subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Spotify. Also, feel free to watch today's show on our YouTube channel. Just type in Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. You can go to our Financially Fit Radio pod or playlist, watch today's show. And more importantly, you can also subscribe and be kept up to date with all of our video shorts that we put out on different types of financial topics. Well, today we're going to talk about 7 smart financial habits that you really should start today if you're not doing them. I think it'll be a good topic about just to be able to plan for the future, for whether it's retirement, whether it's for buying that house, paying for college, anything, to be able to start saving, for your financial future. But before we dive into that, let me introduce you to my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm fantastic. I just can't believe we're over halfway through the year already, Cory. I mean, I'm already thinking about preseason football. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
Yes. No, you're not. That's coming. That's coming around, isn't it?
Yeah, we're just a few weeks away from the first NFL game. Did you know that?
Right.
Of the year? That's crazy.
Well, Ohio State starts practice. Fall practice. I think July 31st.
Yeah. So just not in just a few short days.
And about 5 weeks later, it's game time.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's amazing how, and it's weird how I use that, but I always am like, wow, we're already almost to football season again. How did that happen?
Yeah, I know.
NHL
and NBA just ended, and those seasons are long.
Those seasons are long. I mean, I thought that basketball, I'm like, how long has this season been going on? 2 years?
Right.
I mean, it just seems like, yeah. I mean, of course, it helped that the Timberwolves made it a little further this year than they normally do, which was nice. But
yeah,
it just seemed like that went on for a while. Yeah, I've been great. Cory, I just, we've talked about this on the show before, but dealing with my parents, a little financial story I have. Speaking of financial habits, this is more about, being smart with your money. And we've kind of touched on this. I've talked to you a lot about this, but I thought you'd find this interesting. I haven't talked to you about this specific thing yet. I just got a call from my dad before we jump into our topic. And he's hard to understand on the phone. He's not doing so great. He has cognitive issues, but he still takes care of himself. He has an assisted living apartment. But he got he said Verizon called me and they sent me something in the mail and they want to buy out or take over the tower contract. My dad inherited farmland with a Verizon tower on it. He gets a check for $660 every single month.
That's not a bad deal.
No, that's mailbox money. That's a great deal, right? And you as a financial advisor, you perk up right away when I say that.
Sure.
Well, it turns out now.
But there's a but.
Well, no, here's the deal. All of a sudden, now he's older. He's in assisted living. He's getting things in the mail. And if you read them, it's not Verizon. They put the Verizon logo on it and said, we're a third party and we take over Verizon accounts and we'd like to make you an offer on your Verizon contract and buy you out with a one-time fee. And I said, my dad goes, well, they're going to offer me a bunch of money. I think I'm going to want to do this. And I go, Dad, don't talk to that. That's not Verizon. It's a third party. Like they say, it says in their third party. And I said, yeah, they just want to buy out the contract because you have a contract that's pretty much for the life of the tower. You're going to get $660 a month. And I
Sure.
said, Dad, let's say you live another, he's 81. His dad lived to 101. Let's say you just live another 10 years, right?
Right.
Let's take 660 a month times 12 and then times that number by 10. It's almost $8,000 a year you're getting for this tower. Yep. And I said, in 10 years, that's $80,000, right? Sure. And I said, if they'd have to offer you a lot more than that to make it worth it. Plus, it devalues the land. That's a valuable asset. That is income that the land provides, right? So I said, when you're selling it, that's $660 a month. That is a sale point. You'll get more money. And who knows, you
Sure.
still own the land. You may still have to be paying the insurance because you have to pay a little more insurance to have that tower there.
Yep.
I said, there's a lot of things, and they're trying to they offered him more than the 80, but it's still, I'm like, you don't sign. I go, Dad, whatever you do, don't do that. I said, because, and it's not like I'm doing it for me because I would inherit the land. It's because if we ever sold the land or whoever does get the land, that's mailbox money. And that is a lifetime income right there.
Sure.
That you
can. An annuity.
Yeah. It is like an annuity that he didn't have to put any money into, really. I mean, that's what's amazing about it. So I thought you'd find that interesting, but in a way, they're trying to take advantage. And a lot of these aging farmers who are older,
sure,
they get this if they have a wind tower or they have a cell tower. So my grandpa was smart. He said, yeah, Verizon came to me, wanted to put a cell tower on my land. He has this contract, $660.
How long has he had it on there?
A long time. Like, I don't know, 15 years, 10 years at least.
It's been good.
It's been real good. And it's going to still continue to be good. I mean,
sure.
I mean, unless they, for some reason, stop needing to use cell towers, which I don't see happening anytime soon, but
no.
I don't know. I just told him, no, I wouldn't do that. And I said, and don't sign anything. They said, well, they're sending me the paperwork. I told them I wasn't sure and had to talk to you. And I go, well, we're going to have an attorney look at that paperwork, first of all, and I'm going to read through it, and I'm going to show it to an attorney here where I work and some financial people. So I wouldn't do anything like that without having you look at it or a trusted financial advisor. So that's just a warning to our listeners out there. Financial missteps can happen in so many different ways. And so many people, as you get older, they take advantage of you. And you think it sounds like, wow, this is great. I'm going to get some money. But really, typically, it's not going to be in your favor ever. I mean,
no.
If they're buying it out, it's worth more. Right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to take
that's exactly why that's exactly why they'd want it, because they might even be able to go back and negotiate more money.
Yeah.
Or whatever they're actually trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking today about smart financial habits. And it just reminded me, the smart financial thing isn't always clear. You need to work with an advisor is the message. But what are some habits, Cory, that our listeners can start today?
The first one I'm going to talk about, Tony, is and I think a lot of people think of this one more of if you're a small business owner. You hear this a lot if you're self-employed, and that is always pay yourself first. And really what we're talking about is you want to make sure that, you're saving or you're being able to get that paycheck on, on that monthly or how often you're getting paid, right? But really what I want to talk about here first is when I say pay yourself first, really what we're talking about is you want to make sure that you're automatically investing month in and month out, whether that's your 401k or if you don't have a 401k, that could be an IRA or it could be some type of brokerage account. But you always want to be constantly saving. It's so important to pay yourself first because that means you pay yourself. Now you're going to go out and you're going to pay all your other bills and things like that as well. Now, obviously you got to have a budget, know how much money you're making in order to do that. But you have to do this on a per paycheck basis. You have to keep saving. And if you don't think you have enough, start low. Increase it as you make more income. But it's so important to be able to make sure that you have a percentage of that paycheck, every paycheck you receive, going into some type of retirement fund.
That's huge. Pay yourself first, right?
Pay yourself first.
Always, always. So that's number one. What's number two?
Another one I'd always look at too is, you're 25, right? Just got out of college or whatever. It's your first job. You're not making a whole lot of money. And, you're living you're living on that $30,000, $40,000 income stream that you're bringing in, right? Well, as you progress and go through, 5, 10, now next thing you know, you're 50 years old. You're probably making the most amount of money that you're possibly making. The one thing that you want to make sure of is you're still living within your means. Because you can actually show what that looked like at age 25. Now that you make more money, you need to make sure that you're saving 15% on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Don't have it now that you're making more money. You're not putting more money into your savings. So you want to live within your means. Avoid that lifestyle that if it's not really you. Just because you make more money doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and get a bigger house or a bigger car or more expensive car, right? Or
Right.
or go out and buy more goods are consumed at the house, TVs, or all that stuff can all add up.
Yeah.
So it's so important, I believe, that you just live within your means. And how do you do that? Right? You need to be able to track where all your money's going. No one wants to be on a budget. Everyone hates the word budget.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think it'd be worthwhile for you to look at where is all your money going on a monthly basis. I think it's so important to be able. Do I really need to be spending money on X, Y, and Z on a monthly basis, or just because now I got some extra cash?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Live within your means. You hear it all the time, but yeah. And Cory, are you actually telling me I have to spend less than I make? I mean, I can't believe I have to do that. No, that's what we should all be doing. And don't look at the government to be your example. They're a bad example of living within your means, right? You don't want to.
Look at it this way. You're obviously this year you're living, doing what you need to do to live.
Sure.
Just because you get a 3 or 5% raise doesn't mean now you got to go out and spend 3 to 5% more.
No, which is what most people end up doing. They just
Right.
let that go into their checking account.
Right.
And the checking account is like the general fund at the state capitol or
Right.
or the nation's capital. If it goes into the general fund, it's gone. It's gone.
Right.
Poof, it's gone.
Right.
So yeah, live within your means. Now that's number 2. What's number 3?
Well, kind of on the same line with that, and that is basically you want to make sure you also have an emergency fund. We've talked about it many times on the show.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, when something does pop up, you don't have to worry about it because you have an emergency fund, which is going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 months of your salary. So, or 3 to 6 months of whatever your monthly budget is. That's really what we're talking about, monthly budget. So something pops up, you're not having to go into your retirement savings in order to withdraw money and in order to fulfill that need. Now you just have to go get it out of maybe a bank account or wherever you have that emergency fund at. Could be a low risk brokerage account, wherever that money comes from. And then obviously, once you, for example, buy that furnace, buy the new appliances or whatever that might end up being, now you have to go in and now you got to add to it on a per paycheck basis to get it back to where it needs to be. But you're going to be in a better situation when that emergency does happen. You don't know when you're going to lose your job. You don't know when a spouse is going to pass. You don't know when, you can say anything. You don't know when XYZ is going to happen. But all of a sudden, you might need money that you did not expect to need. And that's exactly what that emergency fund's for.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. And that's huge. Having an emergency fund, you've really driven home the importance of that on past shows as well. So that's number 3. What's next?
The other one I would also look at, this kind of even goes, back to number 2, which was live, live within your means, right? Or even below your means. And that is, you want to make sure that you don't have any high interest debt,
Credit
right?
cards.
The way people get really into debt is they go out and they keep purchasing things they probably don't need. It's probably what it is.
And
It's probably not it, and they can't afford it. And the next thing you know, you have a credit card debt that you're paying over 20% interest in, and you're never going to be able to pay that off. And it just turns into a snowball. So eliminate it. The one thing that I'm so glad I did this. This is back in the day. I got my first American Express card in 1993.
Wow.
I graduated college in 1991. So I got my first American Express credit card in 1993. And why did I choose American Express at that time?
Because you had to pay it off at each month?
Because I knew I didn't make enough money, but I wasn't going to get myself in debt. And I wanted to be able to pay that off every month.
Yep.
That's why I did that.
Yeah.
Now, American Express still sends me stuff, Tony. They're going to give me, 50,000 points or whatever the points value is. If I would actually just allow it for them to be able to potentially allow me to go to pay minimums, or basically I can roll that monthly, that monthly cost or that monthly spend from month to month. I never accept it. If I can't pay it off, I don't want to be able to have a credit card where I have the option mentally to be able to let it roll.
Yeah.
All it's going to do is you're going to have one bad month, turns into 2 bad months. Next thing you know, it's been 12 bad months because your credit card debt just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah. And how for those that do have high interest debt out there are a number of ways. And, you hear about these different ways. You've mentioned them before, but there are a couple of ways to get to eliminate that high interest debt, right?
Yeah, probably the most common is what they call that, the avalanche method.
Yep.
Where you pay off the highest interest rates first, and you just kind of keep snowballing that or rolling that into the next one, right?
Yep.
So that's one thing you probably should talk with your advisor about.
Yeah.
Before you want to be able to do that. But, you want to be able to do something where you put together a plan to be able to get out of that.
A plan. Yeah.
What a lot of people tell me, I had 5 credit cards, so now I got 1 credit card with all the debt. They combined them all into one. You're still paying 20-some% interest. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you sleep better at night, or normally what they have is 6 months interest free, right?
Right.
But they charge a fee in order for you to move it over there, and you still got the same amount of debt. You're still paying the same percentage, and you're probably still going to pay the minimum amount.
Yep.
You don't have a plan in order to get out of debt.
Right. You can transfer it to 0% and get 0% for 6 months or a year. But what happens when that 0% runs out? All that interest comes back if you don't have it completely paid off by that amount.
That's exactly
by that
right.
time. So if you're not going to be able to completely pay it off by the end of that term, you're going to have all that interest that you would have been paying anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just, be smart about it. It's very, everyone gets the credit card applications in the mail.
Yep.
Only put on there what you can, pay off month in and month out.
Yep.
So I think another important thing, Tony, is, we talked about it at the very beginning. That's pay yourself first, but you need to make sure that the habit is you want to invest consistently, right? Whether it's to your 401k or an IRA, you just want to make sure that you're doing that month in and month out. And
starting as early as possible and on a consistent basis.
Right. I mean, $50 a month at age 25 doesn't sound like a whole lot.
Right.
Right. But after, by the time you get increases in your pay, next thing you know, it's not $50 a month, or per paycheck, maybe it's $200 a month, or $200 per paycheck.
Yeah.
Then it might be $1,000 a month, or whatever that number is.
Yeah.
That compound interest will help you compound interest is really the best thing that's ever been invented.
It's the eighth wonder of the world.
It is. And you're going to be in such a better situation if you've been doing that for 20 years, 30 years. The earlier you save, the less you have to actually save in order to maybe get to $1 million. If that's your goal.
Yep. The way to do it is invest early, invest often. It's like voting in Chicago. Vote early, vote often. Invest early, invest often.
And the other part is, if you're doing all these type of things, then you're going to want to be able to track over what your net worth is overall. And you might be young and your net worth might be negative because you actually owe more on your house than you do what you have saved.
Sure.
But if you consistently do that over time and you know what that net worth looks like, and really when we're talking about net worth, right, we're talking all your assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth.
Yeah.
You want it to be positive. You want it to be that as large as you potentially can, especially heading into retirement. Now, in order to do that, you're going to need tools in order to be able to see what your net worth looks like. That's why we have our generational vault for our clients. And when they log in, they see their net worth. Yeah, you see all your assets. You see all your liabilities. If you want to get down to it, you can even do your budgeting all within the same app, the same application, the same app. So it's so important to be able to get you want to get an easy view. It shouldn't be difficult to go in and say, hey, what's my net worth? You log into our website, bam, it's right there. The first thing you see, my net worth is worth X. And I think you're going to be in a better position because all of a sudden, if you're thinking about finance and you're thinking about your net worth, you're going to do things that's going to be able to increase that, which is basically increase your savings or increase your assets and decrease the liabilities that you have, which is probably going to be your house, your car, and credit cards.
Right. Yeah, that's huge. So keep track of your net worth. That's number 6. What's number 7?
The last one is, financial literacy, just in general.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people have read out there where more people spend more time on an annual basis trying to plan their vacation than they actually do about their finances.
Yeah.
Your finances is your lifetime.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, right? Vacation might be once a year. And the only thing I'm talking about is find ways to be able to learn about different types of financial topics.
Yeah, stay literate. Financial literacy is so important, isn't it?
You know what? And here's the easy part. I would say, obviously, you can go to our YouTube channel. We have a bunch of short videos on different types of financial topics. But, if you actually just stop and watch, if you're a big Instagram user out there,
right,
and you just stop and watch 1 or 2 times a financial topic, all of a sudden, what's going to happen to your feed? That algorithm is going to realize that, hey, Cory Sickles is interested in financial planning or whatever, or financial literacy. All of a sudden, you're going to see little clips come up.
Yep.
And it's an easy way to be able to do that while you're laying in bed, watching some videos. And next thing you know, you're learning a little bit about finance.
Yeah. Keep yourself educated. Another great way to do that, Cory, is to work with somebody like yourself, a trusted financial services professional, you and the team there. So if our listeners out there want to achieve all these 7 financial habits, you've given them some great ideas, but the key is work with a financial professional, invest smartly, never too early, and make sure you have a financial plan in place, especially the closer you get to retirement. And if you're near or in retirement and you're not working with somebody, or you haven't gotten a second opinion from a truly independent fiduciary, someone like yourself, they need to do that. How can they get a hold of you, Cory?
Yeah, the easiest way is give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit our website at safeharboroh.com. Again, all meetings are complimentary. We have a location here at Easton, as well as our main location in Dublin. We can even do Zoom meetings. Just remember, there's no financial obligation. We're here to truly help you have the best retirement that you possibly can.
All right. Well, that sounds great, Cory. Thank you for that. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Cory Sickles.
Thank you for joining us for Financially Fit Radio. Don't head into retirement without a strategy that addresses both income and taxes. For more information, please contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors at 614-760-0670 or visit safeharboroh.com now. Join us again soon for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Investment advisory services are offered by Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Investment Advisor. Insurance products and services are offered through Safe Harbor Retirement Group, LLC, an affiliated company. Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, LLC, and Safe Harbor Retirement Group, LLC, are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any government agency. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.